Blessings, 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 my sports to the bone people. Back at it again with another video. Thank you all for checking this one out. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hope you're all having a fantastic day thus far. Now, we find ourselves in a situation where we definitely need to win this game later on tonight. Yes, we need to win to prevent New Zealand from gathering any more momentum going into the rest of this series. Series is locked at one apiece going into the third one. We need to secure this win. Gonna be talking playing 11 and batting order. So just give a listening ear until the end. And the comment section is open as per usual. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Now, coming out of the second game, there are definitely a few things that we need to improve on, a few things that we need to adjust to make sure that we get this third game under our belts, right? Having lost the second game by only 3 runs, you can imagine the guys are itching to go and set the record straight. Now, let's jump into my playing 11 and batting order for today's game. So, I am opening with Alec Arthanes and Amir Django. 2 left-handed batsmen, yes, right? Ideally, you want to go right and left-hand combination. But at the end of the day, if the option that you have is just not firing and you have to go with the 2 lefties, you just have to do that. So I am going Alec and Django to open, and hopefully those 2 guys could spend some time out there, carry us throughout the power play or as close as possible to the end of the power play with some runs under our belt, right? If you lose 1 or so wicket in the power play, that's not too bad. The issue is when you start losing 3-4 wickets coming out of the power play. You generally, when that happens, you're going to lose the game. Shea Hope coming in at number 3. Mr. Consistent, Mr. Carry the team on his back, right? Whenever he doesn't score a lot of runs, we tend to struggle. So he comes in at number 3. I am still trying to work with Aki Mogis. Hasn't scored, well, didn't score in the last game. But at the end of the day, I just see something in him and I want to give him a go. So I have him there. Ravman Poe, the former captain, experienced campaigner, right? I am going to work with him there at number 5. He's somebody that has matured a lot. He is shouldering a lot of the responsibility where this team is concerned. So he comes in. Raston Chase, the man who has become very consistent. I remember about a year or so ago, a year and a half ago, quite a few people, including myself, was wondering why is it that he, even when we had another off spinner who was, I think it was Sinclair at the time that was performing, we're saying why is it that he's always there? Even when he wasn't bowling too much or scoring any runs. But, I will be the first to come out and say, listen, he has really and truly reinvented himself and he is performing. I think he's now the number 3 rank t20 all-rounder in the world, which is very impressive because, where the way cricket is going right now, there are a lot of all-rounders out there, and to see him making that step is pretty good, right? So Raston Chase would come in at number 6. At number 7, and obviously, he's not the biggest of power hitters. He has shown that he can play big shots and he has shown that, he can rotate the strike. But we have to bear in mind that he's there really and truly to contribute some important overs, right? Some very important overs. Jason Holder will come after him, expecting Jason Holder to do some work for us in the back end. Also, and that pitch over there, we want to see Holder leading from the front. Romario Shepherd tends to blow hot and cold these days with his power hitting, but we know what he's capable of, so we have him in the team also. Matthew Ford, a bowler that in the first game I had Shamar Springer ahead of him, right? But Matthew Ford really and truly did some good work, so he's obviously there. Akil Hussain and Jaden Seals, those are the guys rounding out my 11. Now, Akil Hussain, I think in the last game he bowled only 1 over. I think it was 1 over for 13 runs or something like that. I can't really be extra critical of the captain, to say why he didn't bowl more, what was the situation. I already mentioned that, I saw some of the game, but when the games are being played at that time and I have to rise early to go to work, it's difficult. But like later on tonight now, when I'll be able to watch the game, I can see, how the bowlers are being rotated, how things are being, how we are using our players. Jaden Seals, he's a bowler that he just needs to understand what he's being asked to do. Obviously, you don't want to go into a game like this without an out and out quick. You definitely want him to keep it tight. You want him to pick up wickets, but that is how the game is. When you're playing against players who are used to batting and pitches that the ball will come on and the ball will bounce. They are used to pace. Your out and out quick might go for a run sometimes. We have seen that, when it comes on to T20 cricket. So not all the time your out and out quick is going to grab you at 3 for 20 or 3 for 24. Sometimes the pace is not necessarily what they want. They should be using probably a little, just taking a little pace off or whatever. But I'm just saying this to say that if a man go for 61 runs in a game, doesn't necessarily mean you throw him under the bus and say that is it. That's how T20 cricket is, my people, and that is why a lot of players, especially bowlers. It's not a lot of work. You bowl 4 overs and you just have to do some work in the field and then probably wheel the bat a little bit. But as a bowler, your day basically finished there. So a lot of bowlers will probably like it in the sense that it's not a lot of overs, but at the same time, it is geared or suited to the batsmen. But I'm just saying it to say, I am backing Jaden Seals to go out there and to deliver, understand, bowl some crucial overs for us. The medium pacers who are pretty skilled when it comes on to moving the ball around. Well, obviously Seals can move it around, but these guys will change their pace more than him. When you talk about Romario Shepherd, Matthew Ford, Jason Hola, these guys, they rely on, just subtle changes and things like that. So those are the guys that I'm working with in my playing 11. So that would mean that Seals, Ford, Shepherd, Holder, right? They are expected to, so Seals, Ford, Shepherd, Holder, they're expected to do some work with where seam bowling is concerned. And we have Akil and Chase there. So almost the same playing 11 that was used in the second game, except I have dropped my countryman. Yes, I have dropped my countryman, Brandon King, and I didn't even have him playing in the first game either. I don't think I had him playing in the first game. So that is how it goes. There's a lot of debate going on over social media as it relates to Brandon. I see some Jamaicans coming out and saying Jamaicans they are just fighting him because he's from Jamaica. And you don't need to stop the foolishness. You don't need to stop the foolishness. Right? I'm not saying drop him and throw him and drop him out of the squad or anything. I'm not saying that. You have a squad, right? A man is not, you know you're going to want him. You want him in and around the team. The squad is there for a reason. Your man is failing consistently, you rotate him out and try somebody else. That is why you have a squad. But I'm going to say, just as how when I hear people from the other islands talking about man not getting game time because of where he's from, I'm going to tell my fellow Jamaicans to stop the foolishness. Look at the run of games that the man has played. No need to stop the foolishness. When you all want to support island by island, Super 50 is coming up, regional championship is, them sort of cricket is coming up where you can support island by island. We don't need to stop the foolishness. And that is why West Indies cricket, it is so difficult to move forward. Because even the people that are selecting, even though they should be selecting based on what they are seeing, they probably have in the back of their mind, well, I need to get this man from this island in, I don't want to see him as if I'm favoring. I don't need to stop the foolishness and select the team based on what's happening. Big up.